What's going on, healthy gamers? I am here with Flammy. I have known Flammy for a few weeks now, and he has really stood out to me as a quality YouTuber. And he does actually some very interesting content. He covers the game called Clash of Clans, and you don't really think about a mobile game being covered on YouTube, but he's had fantastic success with that. And I don't even have an iPhone, but I watched a few of his videos, and they're actually really entertaining to watch, even if you don't play the game. So, how you doing, Flammy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Uh, Well, yeah, I've been wanting to get you on for a while because this game just really is interesting to me. So, can you tell us a little bit about just what is Clash of Clans and what kind of the general overall theme of the game is?
So, Clash of Clans is an iOS only game. That means it's only on iPhone, iPads, and similar Apple devices. That's right. I'm a dirty casual, uploading casual games on YouTube. I would think there'd be no market for it, except Clash of Clans is pretty unusual. Clash of Clans is a very deep game. Well, I sort of have to preface this by so it's on mobile, but for mobile games, it's very deep. So maybe if you're your normal like Civ player or something like that, you'll say like, oh, this is normal stuff. But it's pretty revolutionary to a game where you've seen lots of like Farmville sort of stuff, and then worse than that, Farmville clones, and then more Farmville clones, and that's really what the sort of social mobile games has been. It's all been these sort of social Facebook type games. Clash of Clans is a strategy game that's sort of like a multiplayer tower defense game. It's a base building, sort of like the closest comparison is a game called Backyard Monsters, which was big a little while back. It's sort of declining a little bit now. There's a couple games which are taking inspiration from that genre, but basically you have a base that you build up, you have troops you train, and then you go attack other people's bases when they're offline.
Perfect. So, tell me a little bit. How is it deep? You said the game is more deep because what my perception of iOS games are like the little motorcycle games where you ride around for 10 or 20 minutes and you get bored and you move on. So
Yeah, so
how?
you get things like
Yeah.
the puzzle solving games, the like sort of 2D stuff, and then you get the sort of action games like that. And it's like action, not sort of, I guess, kind of. Uh, it's deep in the sense that you have a lot of possibilities of what you do in game. So it's got a single player campaign, although it's not really the focus of the game. The focus is really the multiplayer aspects, and that is has a lot of options when you've only got 10 troops to choose from in the game, but you can mix and match them in many different combinations, and it takes a while to unlock all of them. So in that case, it's got a lot of progression as well. As part of the progression, you basically can't max out without spending lots of time or money on the game. It is a free game, so that means it has in-app purchases to support the developers. So it's a little bit of pay to win at points. However, you never feel like you're forced to pay, or if you don't pay, you're going to lose. So it's more pay to get ahead and pay to speed up than pay to win.
Hmm. Interesting. How is the time commitment? Like, how much time would you have to invest to be good at this game?
So it's a whole range. I mean, you can do anything that you want with it, which is, I guess, one of the benefits of social games. It's not like if you drop out for 2 weeks, you're endlessly behind. Maybe there's been one update since then, but it's not like you're off the leaderboards or anything. You'll still have friends on it. Well, assuming they haven't all quit because or taken you off their friends list. But it can easily be played for 5 minutes a day. You can easily be played for 2 hours a day. This sort of game generally doesn't play well for more than that. It's the sort of game where you set up actions and they'll take a couple days to complete or at least a couple hours. So it's just certainly not something you have to be on all the time.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, watching it reminds me of some of these kind of browser-based city building games where you build up an army, and you go kind of raid and pillage other players around you. So, how is Clash of Clans? Because how is it different? How is it more fun? Because it seems like it's more fun than those other games that I've seen. Because I mean,
So
it just seems to be much more popular.
so personally, I've played a couple browser-based games where you have these very long wait times, like I was sort of talking about, and you gather resources, and then maybe you trade or attack other people or both. Um, it's different in the fact that you don't really feel like what a lot of these browser games do. I feel is set like everyone out in a giant grid, and it's like, oh, you've got your local neighbors and stuff. And if you
Mm-hmm.
send an army to attack someone, it takes 5 minutes because they're close by. But you attack someone farther away, it's like an hour. And they do this like very visualized sort of layout. Clash of Clans doesn't do that at all. When you hit attack, you instantly have someone's like, do you want to attack this person or do you want to search for someone else? And you either attack them or you go on to the next one. There's no sort of like delay in action on that. So I really appreciate that sort of instant gratification when I just want to ruin someone's base and steal some resources.
Sure.
So, in what other ways is Clash of Clans different? Well, there's a really big focus on clans, which are the in-game sort of clan system, tribes, however you want to call them. Clans in game can have up to 50 players, and they have a chat system, and they also have a reinforcement system where you can donate troops to your clanmates. It's also a really great way to just get a group of friends because there really isn't any sort of a chat beyond that that's worth mentioning. So it's got a really good social aspect as well if you're interested in that sort of aspect, and it certainly helps, and you can learn a lot from just talking strategy with your clanmates.
So I mean, so from what you said right there, I instantly think this might be a good game that I can play with my just casual friends. You know, my friends who aren't gamers, but maybe we're waiting at a restaurant. We're like, hey, let's play Clash of Clans and go pillage some people. What do you think about that?
There's not currently any like cooperative battles, although that's definitely like huge request. If people like sort of come up with these wild fantasies that they'll call things like clan wars or other like high-minded names that they hope will be added to the game in the future.
Hmm.
There's no currently sort of end game for the clans other than you guys can try to climb the leaderboards together, but that's sort of an individual effort contributing to the whole. But there's definitely the social aspect in the game in terms of going to go have a dinner with your friends and saying, "Hey, let's play Clash of Clans." Well, it's more like, "Hey, I already unlocked Town Hall level 9. Have you done the same?" So it's a bit more showing off and coming up with the latest design that will hold off the attackers a bit better.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I'm gonna use that as a pickup line when I go to a girl. Like, hey, I have a level 10 town hall.
Oh,
You
you'd be
impressed?
impressed,
Yeah.
especially Town Hall 9 or Town Hall 10 that you
Yeah.
just said. Man, doesn't even exist yet, so you're impressive.
I'm pretty godly. You know, it's the girls they can't resist the
When you
Asian
free
town
Jack,
hall.
who's saying girl now?
With
Anyways.
absolutely. So can you like ruin somebody's day? Can you just completely destroy a base and loot everything and just like ruin their whole game experience?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I was definitely really concerned about this when I started playing. So when you first start playing, you get a 3-day newbie shield, which is pretty common in games like this where there's your village that you're building up and then you have other players. Very common to have a starting shield. 3 days is on the shorter end, which sort of means that it's easier to get into. However, whenever that's done, anyone can attack you anytime you're offline. Uh, However, all they can do is steal resources from your base and steal trophies. Trophies are basically the ranking system in the game. So if I've got 100 trophies and you steal three, you gain three, I lose three.
Hmm.
It doesn't really matter for new players. Just lose some of the resources and never all of them. Buildings and defenses and walls and everything can be destroyed and your units can be killed, but nothing permanent. All the buildings that are destroyed will pop back up for free the next time you log on.
Oh, really? And what about your units?
So it would seem like it's really unfair if like I've got my massive army defending my base. How can you ever attack it plus all of my defenses like cannons and mortars and stuff? Well, you can't. My army doesn't actually defend my base. So when you attack, all that's defending my base is the defenses and something called the clan castle, which is what the previously mentioned clan donated troops can go to. But there's a rather limited number of them. So you will always have a chance to attack a base. Maybe you'll screw it up, or maybe my defenses are upgraded a little bit too much for your current level, but you can always do it. You can always
Hmm.
try.
Interesting. How much strategy is there in placing your defenses around your base?
There is a ton. Any players from Backyard Monsters will know it turns into a lot of should this be a couple units this way or a couple units that way? Should I put my walls this way or that way? Should I put my traps here? It's a lot of little details like that. At the same time, there's a lot of it for attackers as well. So I mentioned this game was sort of like multiplayer tower defense. By what I mean by that is that units, once you place them down, you don't actually control them anymore after you spawn them. They'll just follow their preset favorite targets and use their skills and ranges and sort of talents to attack the base. So certain units will attack walls, certain units will attack defenses, certain units will attack anything. So you don't actually control them once you place them down. So that means placing them is an art of its own.
Hmm. Interesting. What other ways does the game kind of add depth to the combat mechanics?
So I mentioned how there was 10 units. So these are all the units that you can use to attack. Well, I guess I sort of recently added a couple more that are sort of in a different category, but I won't talk about them. That's sort of getting into details. If you start playing, like you won't unlock them for probably a month anyways, so doesn't matter. The first 10 units, you'll probably only have five of them for a good like the first week or two. You can use them together in different combinations. So if you have all archers, you're going to be good against certain types of bases or certain types of layouts. If you have all barbarians, that's which is the basic melee unit, you're going to be good against other types of things. However, if you combine them, you can deploy them in such a way that they complement one another without really interfering with one another. That's how you sort of get the perfect units working together without interfering and without sort of wasting your army on things that will just not help each other out and just fail.
Hmm. Interesting. And then, so that brought up a point that I was thinking about. You were talking about unlocking units. So, what are the game mechanics that keep you interested and keep you playing? Because that's something that's big for me. Once the newness of a game wears off, a lot of games, Diablo 3, they get boring really quickly. So, what keeps you playing?
So it's definitely one of those games where they space out the unlocks. It feels a little bit like grinding sometimes to get up to them. The way it works is everything is based around the town hall. The town hall, like I mentioned before, currently has 9 levels available. The first 3 or 4 you'll burn through in about your first 3 or 4 days, and then the ones after that they start really going slow. What happens is each town hall unlocks both new buildings and new levels to those buildings. So, for example, if you unlock a new town hall level, not only can you create a new cannon, but you can also upgrade all your existing cannons to one additional level, for example. This means like by the time you get one new town hall upgraded, not only will you have like 6 cannons now, you also have to upgrade every single one of them to a new level, which sort of explains why it goes slower. Not to mention upgrade times start taking longer, starts costing more resources, etc., etc., etc. As well as like the sort of mentioned like you just get bigger, you also unlock a lot of new things. So I mentioned the units before. For example, those all come out of the barracks. To have the barracks, you need to upgrade it for one new level. You unlock one new unit. Pretty simple. So the top level is level 10 for the top unit. I don't even I didn't get the top unit for like probably 3 or 4 months after I started playing. It's really spaced out. So
Huh.
that means there's certain strategies and units and techniques which are only relevant to high level players. In fact, like I produce YouTube videos for this game, and I'm not even maxed out. I'm a Town Hall 8 out of Town Hall 9. So just some things aren't that relevant to me. There's actually very few things I haven't unlocked, but there are some of them.
Hmm. Well, very interesting. I think this has will give players a pretty good overview of the game, but I want to talk a little bit about your own success as well, just because I like to add in that element of personal development to try to help everybody with the channel. So you started your channel what 5 months ago, and it already has, I think I saw today, 21,600 subscribers.
That's right. I guess technically my channel was started back in like 2007 or something, but nothing significant happened until last November. So I've been going only for 4 or 5 months now. And at the start of last November, I had been writing strategy guides for this game and had been running a community on Reddit. I created a subreddit for the game. So I started writing strategy guides for that. And, well, it turns out some topics are just really hard to communicate via pictures and text. So I looked into recording videos. It was sort of hard to record them on iOS at first, but I eventually got it figured out. And within like 2 days, I was like, my first video had like 100 views, which I thought like maybe I would get in a month, maybe. So I was pretty stoked by that. So I was like, okay, I guess I should just try a couple more things. I started doing commentaries on them. Yeah, and it sort of rest was history. I started a Let's Play pretty fast. I've got a ton of videos out now. I've got about 170 videos. I try to release 1 to 2 every day. Being consistent and sort of having the right timing was really huge.
Sure, and this is the idea that I tell a lot of people because I've had a few people asking me, how can I start my own YouTube or how can I start my own business even and become more financially independent? And the idea is that there will never be a perfect time to do it. You're never going to have all the information you need. Because I imagine you started out, you didn't know how to make, like you had no idea how to do videos, right?
I had never done any video production ever before.
How about
Uh,
like commentary and talking in
I had never
video?
done any commentary. I'd done a little bit of audio editing, just a little bit. Basically, all I knew was I should download Audacity because Audacity is awesome.
Right?
But other than that, I was a total noob.
Right. And so you came into this not knowing how to do any of it and you just learned along the way, right?
That's right. It was something I sort of had wanted to do for a long time. It was like I guess I sort of talked about how I'm a dirty casual at the beginning. Well, I am a hardcore gamer in my history. So I mostly play on Xbox these days or strategy games on PC. So I'd like been always watching YouTube videos. I've been watching live streams. I'm a big StarCraft fan, spectator wise. Can't play it to save my life. All these games I've just seen forever, and like, oh, this person's such a great commentator. Oh, this person does such great like strategy or gameplay stuff. StarCraft 2 was sort of opening my eyes to like streaming, League of Legends a bit as well. I don't play either of those games, but I just love watching them. So it's like, oh, I could do that. I don't know how to. I don't know how I'd get started. I don't know. Oh, it'd be terrible. No one would like watch me. I can't stand my own voice. That's a huge part for some people to get over when you first get started. You record your first thing, you throw it into like Windows Movie Maker or something super basic to edit it, and you like listen to yourself and you're like, oh God, delete everything.
Sure, and I mean, that is exactly how I felt. If you go and listen to my like first video, my voice is shaky. I say and and it just sounds. The video quality is terrible, but it's a process. You learn as you do, and with anything in life, you have to just start doing it. It's going to be awful, but you're going to learn lessons. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail forward. It's that idea of failing forward, of every time you do something wrong, you're learning a lesson rather than if you never start and you're just trying to wait for the perfect time. You haven't learned all those lessons. You haven't failed, but you haven't learned all those lessons at all.
That's totally perfectly put. When I first started, I had to learn about all these video editing things. The platform iOS is very hard to record videos on because Apple doesn't allow you to do it. So there's a couple ways to get around that, but they're all sort of doing these sort of weird things. You get these different video formats that aren't very standard. So you throw them on your computer, and then your video editors don't want to load them because it doesn't recognize it. You got to play around with codecs and do all this research online. It's basically a pain to get started, but once you sort of get going, every single step at the beginning is painful, but is progress.
Sure, absolutely. And now you're at the point where you're able to make, a decent like part-time living, just a side income from this, right?
Yep, I am a student full time, and now definitely a part-time YouTuber. Doing 1 to 2 videos a day definitely turns it into that pretty fast. I'm getting, let's see, I guess I can throw more stats out here. So you mentioned I had 21,000 subscribers. I'm getting about 9,000 per month. So sort of shows that's the last 30 days. I'd expect in the next 30 days, if I was to graph it and predict it, I'd probably get around 15,000, if not higher, subscribers in the next 30 days. I'm also getting 1 million views per month, which is totally mind-blowing. After 4 months, if I was getting 1,000 when I first started, I was going to be impressed by myself.
Yeah, I mean, that blows my mind. It's taken me 10 months to get up to 10,000 subscribers, and you're at 22 already, and that's nuts.
I will say for anyone who thinks that Clash of Clans is the meal ticket to victory and success on YouTube, while that has definitely been true for me, I will tell you, you just got to find the thing that's right for you. Starting Clash of Clans right now is probably about 100 times harder than it was when I started, just merely 4 months ago. There's now hundreds of YouTubers out there. When I started, there was basically 3 people doing semi-consistent Clash of Clans content.
Sure, and I think the lesson here is not even pertaining to YouTube. It's there is something that every single one of us we know deep down inside that this is what we want to do. It doesn't even have to be a business. You might want to go to med school. You might want to become an engineer. Your passion might be becoming an artist, but it's the same concept that you'll never have the perfect time to do it. You just have to start doing it. If you want to become an artist, what is the next step? Maybe you need to learn, take some classes and learn, the different brush strokes. And maybe you don't have that knowledge, so maybe you need to be practicing 2 hours a day. And so it's that same concept where you just need to take that next step and actually get moving on the road and stop worrying about all the what ifs and all the things that could possibly happen. You're going to fail, but like, Flammy's example here, he didn't let those fears stop him. He just took the small steps because it's not a big commitment to make one video today, and then make one video the next day, and you're getting better every day at it. And now look where you are just 5 months later.
It's definitely changed my life. That is irrefutable.
I mean, this has to give you such a base of confidence too. I mean, I've always recommended everyone who's at all interested start their own YouTube channel and blog because it improves your writing, improves your speaking. You think more coherently. You're learning a lot of good skills, marketing, sales, and it really translates well into just life in general. And I mean, I would imagine for you, like this has to give you such a good confidence in anything you do in the future.
Yeah, and it's not really about like I can put on my resume, oh, I make YouTube videos, or oh, I have so and so amount of success on my channel. It's through YouTube, it's forced me to learn about video editing, codecs, encoding, uploading, all these broadband tips or network tips to help you improve your connection stuff. And then once you actually start going, then you learn about all this search engine optimization stuff on YouTube. You start learning about graphic design, animations, because these are all things that are you find out are critical to success or tangentially related to your success. So you just start learning about them. There's 100 other things that I've learned about from advertising to art to anything. That's now just part of me.
Absolutely. And those skills you mentioned, especially search engine optimization, video editing, being able to produce high quality videos, those are super, super important for any small business. And those are things that small businesses today are doing terribly. And if you take those skills, this is something I'm thinking about, down the road. Take those skills, package it into a product, into a company, go in, you solve their needs. You're going to be able to make unlimited amounts of money, just how much you want to work.
I've worked at startups before, and it's all about how many hats can you wear. It's definitely the key to success whenever you're trying something new is you need to be able to put on more hats. And if you've never done video editing before, say that's all right. That's fine. I'm going to go start Googling about this. I'm going to watch YouTube videos on how to do whatever this is. I'm going to read some tutorials. I'm going to look at this or that. I'm going to just open up a program and mess around. I'm going to film some with my phone and upload it and just see if it works. See if the resolution's off. See if the colors are off. Just start messing around and trying something. You'll learn something new.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's the key is you have to train yourself to become a learner if you're not already. Everything now is able to be learned for free on the internet. So there's no excuses. So if there's something you want to do, go out, learn how to do it, and do it.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I mean, I feel like we covered some really good ground here, and we'll just cut this video off here. And I hope everybody has really enjoyed it. I want to thank you so much for your time, Flammy. I really enjoyed this conversation. Enjoy learning about Clash of Clans, especially our last part of that conversation. That just got me pumped.
Got me pumped too. I should go get on making some videos for tomorrow so I don't have to do them last minute like normal.
Well, absolutely. And once again, thanks for your time. And everybody go check out Flammy's channel. He has really, really good guides on Clash of Clans. And check out that game. And I'll try to bring you on again. We can talk about, more success and Clash of Clans and whatever else.
Sounds awesome. I look forward to it. If you guys want to leave any questions down in the comments section, I will lurk around for a couple days answering them. So, YouTube, Clash of Clans stuff, whatever, you can find me down there in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them.
Wonderful. Thank you, Flammy, and take care. And hope everybody has a wonderful day.